more of the paper thing with me, the Broken Bottle Boy. Today's episode, the press tyrant's tantrums. Going to be talking a lot today about Max Mosley and the newspapers getting their revenge on him. Now he's dead and can't reply. Of course, we're not going to forget that he was the son of Oswald Mosley and supported his father well into adulthood either. Hello, Mr. Gump. How are you doing? Good to see you. Let me just stick this in the Discord as well. Oh, what am I doing? Stream happening at here. The show is live. Good afternoon to you, you older stomach pump. Good afternoon, Mark Kenosis. I guess we found out the maximum amount of Mosley. Yes, we've reached the maximum amount of Mosley. It was 81 all out. Right, so funny enough, today's magazine review is the Dynasty issue, or I guess if you're American, Dynasty issue of Vanity Fair, with Princess Di on the front cover, a very tiny Prince Harry, and Prince William back in the days when he had plenty of hair. Good afternoon, Guy Rush. Good to see you. Hello, Selinka. How's it going? Reprobates is a very good word for me and the regulars on this stream. Much appreciated. Thanks, Dan. Yes, it's got to get through this t-shirt, which I don't think person in the room is a massive fan of. Mark Kenosis has just been reading the Wikipedia list of British police officers killed in the line of duty. Relaxing lunchtime reading, isn't it just? Hello, Rosie Rose. Good to see you. Hi, Yuan. Hello to all of you. I don't know. I should clean my glasses before the show rather than during it, but there we go. Right. So, let's take a look at Vanity Fair before we move on to the Mail, the Telegraph, and the Times today. Yes, rare Louis Theroux, Daniel Bedingfield crossover merch it is. Okay, so Vanity Fair, first 2, 4, 6, 8. First 8 pages are ads. Then we get the contents page. What are we offered here? Something about Harry and Meghan's departure from the royal family. Fall of the House of Hammer. A dark family history has lurked beneath the surface of Armie Hammer's picture-perfect life. The shocking allegations against the actor are just the latest chapter in the saga. I do like Mr. Bungle. Lost and found. A devastating explosion left many of Beirut's historic 19th century villas in ruin. Young photographers documenting them before they're gone forever. An interview with Moonlight director Barry Jenkins about his forthcoming adaptation of the Underground Railroad. Shot chasers. Towards the end of the Trump presidency, there was a plan to vaccinate essential federal workers. In a fitting final chapter of the era, it was totally upended by cronyism and favoritism. Phantom threads. Artisans at Chanel's ateliers honed their craft for years. Here's how they brought the latest Métier d'Art collection to Earth. It's an interview with Lords Leon, an interview with Stacey Abrams, and a thing about Andrew McCarthy, who rose to fame as a member of the infamous Brat Pack and has a new memoir coming out called Brat. So let's get into it. Trying to sell you sketches. Archfit, apparently. Right, Vanity Fair London's newsletter they want you to sign up for. The editor's letter. What's so interesting about families? Tolstoy knew, and Shakespeare. So did Dickens, whose novels so often found their resolution by following genealogical lines to settle an inheritance, tracing old families and creating new ones. This goes on about the Crown. Shows the various times they put Diana on the front cover. Diana graced the cover of Vanity Fair 4 times during her lifetime, 85, 88, 93, and 1997. Final cover was a July issue, which landed just before she died in the August. Mark Kenosis says his mum just got the Archfit sketches. Apparently they're extremely comfortable. Fair dues. Okay, so Lourdes Leon. Yeah, Lourdes Leon is the eldest daughter of Madonna and the fitness guru Carlos Leon, as Leon calls her dad. She's now the face of Marc Jacobs. So there you go. I suspected she was a famous child, and she is. In a diary she kept while living on a Windsor estate during World War II, Althea Fitzalan Howard, friend to the Queen, describes anguish beyond the idyll. The book is called The Windsor Diaries, My Childhood with Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret. Right, whoopee-doo. There's an advertising feature about La Prairie's Pure Gold collection. What is La Prairie?
It's a very expensive face cream brand.
Oh, very expensive face cream brand, apparently, says person in the room. Thank God you're here. They have a fashion page based around the forthcoming Cruella de Vil origin story. Why the fuck do we need an origin story? She was not I don't know. I mean, to be fair, Emma Stone is good. So there's another bit of advertorial this time about Whiteley Neal handcrafted dry gin.
Taken again.
Who have you taken again? What do you not like about it?
Looks like a couple of people I don't like.
Okay, you're an interesting character. Right before our eyes, from reality TV to TikTok, the Kardashian-Jenner clan reshaped the beauty industry, it says here. Right. Let's get into the features. How Trump fades away, media domination doesn't last forever. Just ask Sarah Palin. Yeah, I don't think the comparison between Sarah Palin and Trump works, actually. Continental drift. Two brothers, alike in dignity, among the British monarchy where we lay our scene, are grappling with ancient grudges. Will it and should it be mended? That is an overwritten lead, to be honest. Not a fan there. Anyway, pages and pages. This always annoys me, right? So they've gone with a splash page, which is whatever, fine. But pictures of them from a long time ago. Then a set of pages with photos on either side, and then just gone, oh right, we'll just do blocks of text for this spread. It's just completely lacking in effort. The Marc Jacob has no face of his own and must wear the faces of young women. That's careful, because Charlie Brooker will read that and turn it into a Black Mirror. Right, fall of the House of Hammer. Armie Hammer's life seemed beautiful from the outside. Perfect wife and kids, sparkling Hollywood career. But a glimpse into his family's past reveals how the shocking allegations of rape and abuse made the latest chapter in a fraught legacy. I mean, they've gone big on the drama there, haven't they? This is not good, but an interesting feature. I read it online a while ago. It's good. It's a good feature. The next feature as well, Lost and Found, featuring Dia Murad's photos of the ruined Beirut villas, is striking. The photography is really good. I mean, just stunning and sort of awful at the same time. Yeah, so I mean, this is some fantastic photography. Another amazing shot there. Although, why you wouldn't take it full bleed, I don't know. But there you go. That's the design element. The design choices in Vanity Fair are, like, it is a high-end magazine, and sometimes the design's really good, very subtle, and other times I just think you've just not really made the effort. I like this. That's beautifully done. Sort of head nod to Blue Note Records and the jazz element and background there, and the shot of Barry Jenkins is good. It's good. Also like his jacket there, but then look at this. This just lacks anything. This is very design wise. This is very basic. Same here. You just feel like this is a bit sort of just done by rote. This is an interesting interview, by the way, worth reading. Barry Jenkins often has good things to say. And then you cut through to this this feature on the Trump the vaccine efforts of the last days of the Trump regime, and you get that, which is just looks like a design from a completely different magazine. For me, it reminds me a bit of it's like the magazine version of Spring Breakers in terms of the colours and the way that the text is laid out there. Anyway, a much more striking choice of design there. But what do? Just a block of text next. Massive drop cap, massive pull quote, and a block of text. So this is it lacks creativity to me, and they do that again. They go for another spread that's just text. The point with magazines is you've got all this opportunity to make interesting design choices, and I think if you want readers to pay out for a print magazine, you should be producing an object that they go, this is beautifully produced object. Otherwise, why wouldn't they just take the online version? Magenta in that image makes me think of Color Out of Space, aka Lovecraftian. Yeah, that's a good connection to make, I think. Rendlin thought, well, I'm glad you're up. One thing I will say, Rendlin, is they're always available on video on demand, and I'm also putting them on YouTube all the time. Phantom Threads. Okay, this I don't mind as a spread. I like the fact that they've gone the whole page with this photo, and I quite like the choice of having the tailor's dummy out of focus and then the city behind it fully in focus. And I always like behind the scenes stuff. Again, not the most thrilling layout there, but this is a really interesting article, and I don't mind. To be honest, I don't mind when they frame the photos like that. Stuff like, little macro shots is good as well. But again, then it starts to lack something for me. Like, this is the kind of layout that I think like a magazine design student would make. I think if you're designing at the level of Vanity Fair, you should be producing more striking and interesting layouts. It just seems easy for me. Yeah, Guybrush, exactly. Yeah, most people read stuff in long form online anyway, so make your magazine a real design feature. Just go hog wild in design. Renlet thought, yeah, Jacobin's print mag always looks like a lot of thought went into it. That I was going to pick up Huck the other day, actually, in Smith's, and they've done a really good job with that as well. And I think a lot of independent magazines realise that they need to do that. Sort of the thing about I think one of the things about being somewhere like Vanity Fair is, or at Condé Nast generally, it's pretty decently well paid. And until recently, I think people have felt they pretty much were very secure in their jobs. That's changing though, because Condé Nast is switching to global hubs rather than having so many local magazines. So, for instance, the British editor of GQ is gone now, and these are going to be edited from a central point, and I think that could make it even worse. Guybrush would unironically happy to see a return to 90s excitement for desktop design with magazines, let loose with fonts and layouts. Yeah, Slinker, yeah, pretty sure I was better at layouts during my graphics GCSE. Well, yeah, because there was an expectation for you to have to try, you needed to try hard. Anyway, that continues across that feature. It's actually a really interesting feature. If you're someone who's buying Vanity Fair and you're interested in design and how fashion gets made and stuff, it's really good. The King's Gambit, Stacey Abrams is the founder of Fair Fight and a leading light of the Democratic Party. Now Vanity Fair excerpts Abrams' first political thriller, While Justice Sleeps, a tale of conspiracy, biotech schemes, and an irascible member of the Supreme Court. Well, there's another book for Trash Future to get their teeth into. But, I mean, again, look, this is 80s. The illustration is 70s even. Like, I guess it's going for a retro effect, but it's really lacking something. Also, I always hate these read the opposite way headline layouts. Again, going just big on typography and a big pull quote, but it just feels. I mean, I know I'm saying the same thing for every page in this, but like this is a real issue. Look, bland. people can read this online. Right. I will say, good work by the picture editor. This is a striking picture of Andrew McCarthy that they've picked there, and a decent headline. I mean, it's Route 1, but Redland thought, I used to drink beers with page 1 and 2 editors of the LA Times around the time that some guy from Rolling Stone took over the whole design. Page 1 editor shoves the front page in my face and says 37 different fonts. Look at this rubbish. It's 24 and I hadn't thought about font design until then. Yeah, I mean, to a certain, I think you've got to pick. You pick your font families, and I think you got to pick bold. Pick boldly if you're choosing slab fonts, all this kind of stuff. If you're picking your headline fonts. Agreed. You can overdo it and it'll look appalling. That's a shit show. That is a shit show. I always think that of spreads like this as a kind of the magazine equivalent of when you're at university and you stick loads of pictures on a pinboard in your student room. It's like, whatever, fine, but it just lacks something. It also feels to me of one of those cases where the picture editor hasn't made a strong choice. Right, this is the images we want here. Let's just fucking throw all of them there, and that's disappointing given that that's a okay spread. Yeah, okay, Randall. Well, yeah, that would have been around the time that I was starting out in magazines, so that's kind of my era. Again, weak. By the way, this is an interesting feature with him, and I'd be interested in reading the book from it. A cracking picture of John Hughes with Andrew McCarthy and Molly Ringwald on the set of Pretty in Pink. It's a great picture. Again, it could be better treated. They also do, which is something I really hate about a lot of American glossies, is that they will continue an article from earlier in the book later, give you a turn to this page to come to this article. Hate that. Commit to the article, finish it, give it the space and finish it there. Asking the reader to skip to the end to get the rest of an article is just like, I don't know why you would do it. They do that the same with other articles there. So here we're just doing, this is kind of like the wash up for the last bits of articles that they haven't run consecutively. Pages and pages wasted on kind of, little essentially classifieds. And then on the back page, Sharon Stone does the Proust questionnaire. Was your favourite journey to the kitchen with my kids? Which words or phrases do you most overuse? Love bug, fucker, Jesus H. Christ, get off me. What are your favourite names? Rowan, Laird, and Quinn. What is your current state of mind? Rather zen. Which talent would you most like to have? She'd most like to be a good singer. She doesn't have any regrets. Her greatest achievement, she says, is raising a family. Classic celebrity answer that. If you were to die and come back as a personal thing, what do you most think it would be? A doorknob? What's your most treasured possession? It's a Buddha head that was given to her by an acting teacher. And what is her motto? She doesn't have one, but I do wish you and everyone who reads this every happiness and every blessing. Sharon Stone has reached the hippie mom stage of life. Right, so that's Vanity Fair. Look, I'd say good run of features in there, not lacking in feature ideas, and I like the fact that it still combines like these kind of floaty, kind of fun features with some more hard hitting stuff. And there, the article on the Trump vaccine fuck ups is a good article. The Army Hammer one is solid. Even the Royal one is more interesting than most Royal reporting. But the trouble is the design choices. It feels old. To me, this Vanity Fair doesn't feel that different from the Vanity Fairs that I read in the late 90s. And that is an indictment on the designers and the editors for not keeping it lively. And a waste of a good brand. But there you go. I'm not highly paid by Condé Nast to edit Vanity Fair. But if I were, I think I'd do a better job. Of course I would say that, though, wouldn't I? Right. Okay, so we're going to move on to... It's no Sun today. I picked up the papers, and when I came out, I realised I actually had wanted to pick up the Sun because they're going to particularly go hard on Max Mosley today as they get their revenge for the death of the News of the World. But instead, we've got the Telegraph, the Times, and the Daily Mail. And we're going to start with the Telegraph because it's always an abject arseache to handle right now. When I pull it into this image, it's going to do a weird thing where it makes the image go weird. A weird thing where it makes the image go weird. Well, you know what I mean. It's going to be tiny and in the wrong place, but fear not. I mean, neither of those things are true.
It's true.
No. No, you have not. Okay, so here we go with the Daily Telegraph. Front page of the Daily Telegraph. Of course they get the boot in on Max Mosley, who died yesterday, age 81. They go with the fascist sympathiser who made an enemy of the truth. What the Daily Telegraph has or can say about the truth is, dubious at best. On the inside box on the left-hand side where they're promoting what's in the feature section. Eat up, I've swapped my vegetarian diet for meat to save the planet. Ask Jordan Peterson how that worked out for him. Roll up, the emotional return of Gifford Circus. Celia Walden says don't put Jennifer Aniston back in her box. And Hidden Killer, could you have diabetes and not know it? Well, I couldn't because my dad has diabetes and I've had tests. Main story for the Daily Telegraph today. Vaccination won't mean an end to self-isolating. On the right-hand side, school head faces protest in Palestinian flag row. This is because this head just said at an assembly, by using a symbol such as the Palestinian flag, the message is lost because for some people they see that flag and they feel threatened, they feel unsafe, and they worry because for other people that flag is seen as a call to arms and seen as a message of support for anti-Semitism, for being anti-Jewish. Really fucking awful. Yeah, Guybrush Threepwood. I wonder why they don't like that particular fascist. Yes, they don't like that particular fascist because he turned on the press. But yes, worth saying that Max Mosley never recanted his youthful support for his father, never condemned his father publicly, although people on the kind of hacked off side will say that he did, but he just really didn't. Hey, Malco406, thank you for joining us. Elsewhere on that page, Dominic Raab has said that Moscow, or alluded to the fact that the Foreign Office believes Moscow was involved in the Belarus plane arrest. May have been, may not have been. Biden struggling for UK backing on tax plan is what they've been briefed. Drafty homes could be hard to get a mortgage for. It's going to be really good for people who are struggling already to try and get a home, isn't it? The flag story is grim, massively grim. Expect that to be covered in a similarly shit way. Well, Max Mosley think that one of the key elements, Yoli Start Pump, of his win against the News of the World was the fact that the BDSM sessions were found not to include Nazi elements. So, of course, there were dominatrixes talking to him in German and being spanked by him and dressed in uniforms. So it's sort of splitting hairs, but he managed to split the hairs legally quite profitably for him. Hey up, Geds, how you doing? Malco406, what are we doing? We are reviewing the newspapers. Hey, Dan. Mark Kenosis, that was his contention. It wasn't Nazi themed. It was a nondescript totalitarian setting. Yes, and he also claimed that the speaking of German was because one of the women liked to receive instructions in a language that wasn't her own, while some of the other sex workers at the event were German speakers. Yes, and it did turn out that it turned out that one of the dominatrixes was German. Inside the paper, chip off the old block. Son and Ash's winning mother steer side to victory. Harry Brindle stepped up to the crease on Sunday. He issued an instruction to his opening partner: don't do any silly runs and run me out. Nothing unusual in that, perhaps, except that Harry's 12 years old and his partner was his mother, Aaron Brindle, a 3-time Ashes winner. They won a 10-wicket victory in the Lincoln and District League. On page 2, the Telegraph does a pretty straight down the line story about the potential for plaster casts of hundreds of transgender sex workers to pop up on Trafalgar Square's fourth plinth, as it's on the shortlist for statues to take the place there. They're also in the running. Teresa Margolis, the Mexican artist, has proposed naturally decaying. Yeah, okay, so no, sorry, this is her. Teresa Margolis, the Mexican artist, proposed a naturally decaying cast of 850 transgender people's faces for the work called Improntas, Imprints. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, said these proposals from our most international lineup of artists to date show yet again why the fourth plinth is the world's most high-profile public art prize. Miss Margolis' proposal has been shortlisted alongside the Jewelry Tree by Nicole Eisman, with objects including Nelson Mandela's medals blown up to a vast scale, and Antelope by Samson Kambalu, which features figures from the colonial era. Goshaka Makura's giant rocket, and On Hunger and Farming in the Skies of the Past by Ibrahim Mahama, which recreates a Ghanaian grain silo, and Bumpman for Trafalgar Square by Paloma Varga Weiss is a figure inspired by German folklore. The entries will be displayed in the National Gallery until July 4th, when the winning sculpture will be placed on. Then the winning sculpture will be placed on the fourth plinth next year after an announcement in June. Yeah, the Belarusian plane story as well. Yeah, yes, that's right. He only stone pump. He was just he was just a racist pervert, a fascist and a pervert rather than a fascist pervert. Yeah, the BDSM stuff was probably some of the least bad thing he ever did. Yes, that's right. The issue here. There's two issues here. One is that the media, which is full of its own selection of racists, and the Daily Mail in particular, which was a fascist sympathising paper for a very long time and still is hugely racist in many ways, is in really no position to adequately judge Mosley. But on the other hand, you've got people on the other side saying just talking about him like a privacy campaigner and ignoring the fact that he was heavily involved in violent action for his father during the time of the Union movement, and that he never really recanted his involvement in, for instance, publishing racist electoral material that suggested that immigrants brought disease and all that kind of stuff. So it's shot from both sides, really. A drug dealer has been jailed for 13 years after police were able to identify him from fingerprints and a picture of his hand holding some Stilton cheese. Carl Stewart, 39, from Liverpool, was suspected of supplying heroin, cocaine, ecstasy and ketamine in northwest of England, but he was caught when police cracked the EncroChat mobile platform used by gangsters and criminals in Europe. He had sent a picture of himself sending a block of his hand holding a block of Marks and Spencer's blue Stilton to his criminal friends. The headline goes, "Hard cheese for drug dealer caught after after a photo reveals his fingerprints to the police," which is quite hilarious. Mark Kenosis, Max Mosley. I mean, to be fair, his mate Tom Watson never apologised for publishing racist election material either. Yeah, exactly. Mark Kenosis wants to put a structurally unsound statue of Dennis Patcher's penis that falls off and kills someone. Very Mark Kenosis idea for a statue. On page 4, are Dom and the Shapeshifter cooking up a coup together? This is Gordon Rayner, the associate editor of The Telegraph, speculating that Michael Gove has some involvement in Dominic Cummings' attacking of plans to attack the Prime Minister at parliamentary parliamentary committee investigations tomorrow. I wonder who is telling The Telegraph that Michael Gove's behind it all. Perhaps the sources are just Boris Johnson and a series of even stupider wigs and moustaches. On page 5, delays in mental health care are damaging children's health. I think we knew this already. Ireland is going to lift its quarantine and test rules. It will announce that 14-day quarantine on UK holidaymakers will go away this week. Number 10 insiders say Boris Johnson will foot the bill for his own marriage. incredible scenes. I mean, it says something about our deranged political culture that is a story. The MP Julian Knight, who is the chair of the Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee, claimed that the BBC rehired Bashir in order to keep his mouth shut. The BBC says that is not the case. Maureen Lipman has quit Equity because she says it's too political. It's more... it's just, you know, Maureen Lipman is... I'm not a fan, put it that way. On page 8, this is the story. Lipman quits Actors Union in Israel row. A 19th century executioner's sword from India is expected to fetch up to £5,000 at Bonham's Antique Arms and Armour sale in London today. Look at the size of that chonking sword. Take UK Eurovision choice away from the BBC, says Liz Truss. Liz Truss has urged for more competition in the selection process. She denied the UK's nul point at the contest held in the Netherlands last Saturday was a post-Brexit snub and suggested that the BBC should not choose future entrants. The BBC is to blame for everything. Redolent thought, Boris showing that he can control his authoritarian tendencies, although he'll probably make money off the wedding photos being sold to papers. Big sword, big sword. Mark Kenosis, wow, Maureen Lipman leaving something that isn't the Labour Party repeatedly. Imagine that. Cambridge Free Speech row website taken down. Dons had claimed the university's anonymous reporting site would foster a police state. God, imagine Cambridge Dons being hyperbolic. It could never happen. Here is a picture of a dog doing an assault course. It's a lovely dog, but it's being forced to work for the RAF. So it's a military dog, job dog. The terrified journalist Roman Protasevich said, "We can't land here. They're going to arrest me. We can't land in Minsk. It'll be death for me." I really hope he is released. Still frustrated that The Guardian insisted on calling him a blogger. Guybrush tweet good. Love dogs, ate the RAF. Simple as that. Slinkermeyer saved the dog. Fred... Oh, can't read that one, Mark Kenosis. I was like, what did he write then? That is not readable. In the comments section, Sherelle Jacobs, the scariest woman in Whitehall, says, Cummings is a has-been, but his sinister ideas on lockdown live on. Let's see what happens tomorrow, Sherelle. Judith Wood says, you don't want to be on the wrong side of the home working divide. Whatever. And Andrew Haldenbury, co-founder with Professor Nick Bussenquet of Aiming for Health Success, a new health research body, says, where is the Marshall Plan for the NHS? And finally, Charles Moore, a more hyperbolic version of the eagle from the Muppets, says how Cambridge is being turned into Xi's China. Fact check, it's not. Yeah, that was a near miss with Mark's comment there. Right, in the features and arts pages, the Red Tick Cheat plays. Charles Less plays. Yes, Sam the Eagle. Charles Moore is an evil Sam the Eagle. On page 17, the Telegraph really enjoys itself with a feature headlined "Mosley and his Ministry of Truth." Again, you've got to... the issue is not, was Max Mosley a piece of shit? Undoubtedly, he was a piece of shit. But... why do the papers think he was a piece of shit? And their reasons are because he went to battle with the press. And he was right to challenge the News of the World story. The question of privacy... The privacy question was a relevant one, despite what he was trying to keep private. Celia Walden says the last thing we need for our children is a creative syllabus. Awful column. And... some shit about Jennifer Aniston. And then Claire Finney says, if you eat grass-fed meat, you actually help to put climate change into reverse. I think this is a dubious argument at best. Do you remember Charles Moore's extremely horny column about feminists taking over, hoping they'd have mercy and not crush him beneath their powerful heels? I do remember that column, and it makes me feel quite sick. What links Shakespeare to Doctor Who? As a new stage show opens, Dominic Calvinish looks at the Time Lord's deep theatrical roots. All right. There's a big feature on the return of Gifford's Circus. In the obituaries, they take another punt at Max Mosley here, calling him son of Sir Oswald Mosley, fact, who dominated Formula One. Dominated. They chose that word deliberately. And after a tabloid expose, campaigned for stricter controls on the press. It is one of the more pleasant obituaries in the British press, I have to say. What is the argument for grass-fed beef reversing climate change? Hang on, Rendell thought I will go back. I've been a vegetarian since I was 12. What did she say? In the past year, some 500,000 Britons have moved to plant-based diets, even citing eco-reasons for doing so. Even as a vegetarian of some 20 years standing, it was only in the past decade that I pinned my dietary preferences to the planet. But for a girl who spent her school years clad in cotton traders and playing the bassoon to feel ahead of the game was a seductive experience. I became uncomfortably aware that vegetarianism opposed to veganism was not a guilt-free middle ground. The more I read or was told of the dairy industry's so-called byproducts, the harder it became to ignore the hypocrisy of my denouncing meat while devouring cheese. So when I decided to look more closely at the relationship between eating meat and the environment, I was ready to be challenged. What I was not expecting, however, was to be told that it was possible to eat meat and cheese in a way as not just to mitigate one's ecological footprint, but make a positive contribution towards preventing climate disaster. The most sustainable meat we can eat is grass-fed beef, lamb, and dairy products. As long as they're using our eating power to support regenerative systems, we needn't feel bad about eating meat at all. This is fucking... it's a crock of shit, mate. Beef, Rindfleisch. Rindfleisch, and other words for beef. By the way, there's going to be some beef-related banter coming up with the execrable Giles Corran in the Times, so I look forward to that. Anyway, also in the obituaries, Roger Horrell, diplomat who became a senior officer in MI6 and in 1979 helped to transfer power in Rhodesia. He was up to all sorts of stuff. In the reviews, Winslet steers the most gripping drama of the year. 5 stars for Mayor of Easttown. And today's TV recommendation, Spring Rot 2021. That was the Daily Telegraph for me. It's a minus negative nice. Minus 69.69. Okay, shall I attempt a speed round through the Times? Yesterday I managed to do The Guardian in 3 minutes. I think the Times is thick a paper. So I reckon, what do you reckon, a 4-minute speed round? Let me just do the roll call while you answer me on that. I am the Broken Bottle Boy, of course. My name is Mick Wright. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy and on TikTok at Useless Conquest. In the mod squad today is the ever excellent Guy Brush, Tweet Good. In the chat, Academy Impossible, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Auntie Dange, Bad Motivator, or should I say valued subscriber, Bad Motivator. Bloodluster, Carbot14XYZ, silent but frequently present. Chris McRae, thank you for being here, appreciate it. Commander Root, Dan Jones, 3142, Ged Station, Glycolic Moment, Industrial Pet, Chronotherm, Loopy Loo, 2020, the ever excellent but always putting things in the chat that nearly get me in the shit, Mark Kenosis, Mr. Gump, Rendell Thought, thank you for joining us, good to see you here. Early doors for you. Red Tickseed is fantastic, as is Rosie Rose. Selinka Meyer is brilliant. Do check out our photography if you have not. Easily found on Twitter and Instagram. Smirch is here, Snur is here, Tauntaums is here, V&K is here, Virgo Pros is here, Ye Olde Stomach Pump is here, Yuan is here, and Zoutar is here. Thank you all for joining me on this Tuesday show. Tomorrow will be my last pre-immunised day as I get my first dose of the vaccine, and Thursday, we'll see how we go with Thursday if I'm feeling up to a show, but I hopefully will be, and maybe we'll do, and we will 100% do a new magazine special on Friday. If you want to pick the magazine for the magazine special, just throw some coins into the paper fund. The paper fund is up there above my head. paypal.me/conquest of the useless. Slinkermeyer -69.69 for the Telegraph. Snur, God, I love how that dumbass CNN journalist getting absolutely dragged on Twitter. I used to be friends with him, unfortunately. Well, no, not unfortunately. Yuan, no, Mick is too dangerous. I will do it. Let's do it. Dan Jones, today's TV recommendation, as it will be all week, is the conclusion of the Premier League darts. Mark Canosis, -1 cotton trader-clad bassoon-playing childhood. Chronotherm wants me to spend 3 minutes 59 seconds on Giles Corrin, 1 second on everything else. Mark Canosis loves how Automod catches innocent stuff, but not his most evil utterances. The stream can't handle that much power. Red Six Seed gives the Telegraph -666s. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. I'm removing my glasses to prevent them from shattering from the sheer force of the speed round. Actually, I'm not, because I can see better with them on. There we go. Okay. Hey, Google, set timer for 3 minutes.
Sure. 3 minutes.
Balls!
Now.
Sorry.
Hey, Google, set timer for 3 minutes.
Second timer for 3 minutes. Starting now.
Oh, God. You see, just as a minor off-camera liquid spill. Hold on. Hey, Google, cancel timers. Hey, Google, set timer for 3 minutes.
Third timer for 3 minutes. And that's starting now.
Okay, here we go. Here's the times. Front page of the Times. How safe is your air at work or dining out? Who knows? The secret to drinking alcohol. Small sips. Whiff of criminality surrounds Bashir interview, says MP. They love this. This is just a Julian Knight, Conservative chair of the Commons Cultural Select Committee, has made that suggestion, and they get to put it in a headline. Don't fly over Belarus after hijacking, UK Airlines told. Pretty straight story there. Rural areas face threat of 40,000 new homes. Threat of 40,000 new homes. Because apparently having more places to live is a bad thing. Boom. There we go. Right, let's get through this. Red alert over Henley as hungry kites attack the town. I am pro the kites. May they continue to rain hell on Henley. On page 5, more just horrible coverage of the Sasha Johnson, who, you know, a young woman and also a Black Lives Matter activist who was shot at the weekend. The papers constantly say black rights activist shot by gang. The implication being that it was to do with her activism that she was shot, even though we're told that isn't the case. Hypocrite Cummings accused of trying to rewrite the past, says Stephen Swinford, who is always repeating government lines, on page 6 and 7. Lab leak fear as US says Wuhan scientists were taken to hospital, page 8. Let's dine under the stars and stripes. A dining revolution brought about by the pandemic is being made permanent as cities in the US make restaurant sheds and shelters part of the urban landscape. Page 11, the Times takes a very straight approach to reporting the death of Max Mosley. They say motorsport boss turned privacy campaigner Mosley died at 81. They keep all the vitriol for the Sun, which goes in hard on him today. On pages 12 and 13, BBC badly tarnished by cover-up over Diana interview. On page 13, editorial practice and culture face review by board. If you want more about that, read today's newsletter. Call to stop e-scooter trials until rules are clear is on page 15. On page 16 and 17, teachers want less homework, less marking and a different job. Nicola Walcott, the education editor, once again attacking teachers effectively. On page 19, a lovely picture of a tiny little gorilla. That was the first alarm. That was the first alarm that got set. That is not the actual 3 minutes. William Hague in the comment section says, a strong institution does not evade scrutiny. Right, that's the second alarm. Right, we're going to get the third one. Sarah Ditton says, ugly side of cosmetic surgery posts real risks. Giles Corrin is awful and says, one quote from his column, "Come on, nobody eats beef anymore. Nobody with a degree and a decent job anyway. It's the same as the stigma of deprivation and ignorance of smoking, drink driving and diesel." What an awful human he is. Hugo Rifkin says Johnson is the leader Dianification forgot. Oh dear, right, okay, so we didn't do it in the 3 minutes. Here we go anyway. Let's see if we can do it in 5. 2 more minutes to go. In the birthdays today, Johnny Wilkinson is 42. Irfin Ali is 41. Biddy Baxter, the BBC Children's Magazine show producer who produced Blue Peter, is 88. World news, the kill me terrified dissident told crew. Horrible. Cable car flew down the wire then dropped like a stone is the horrible headline on the story about that. In the business news, 2,000 jobs at stake in Gupta sale. Ted Baker blames disruption for delay in results. Analysts expect a second delivery from Royal Mail. In the obituaries, they say Max Mosley, scandal-ridden Formula One boss who took on the news of the world. The pull quote, "As a young man, Mosley was actively involved in far-right politics." That's an understatement. And second obituary, Kentaro Miura, manga artist whose series Berserk about a cursed lone wanderer called Guts sold in the millions. That is actually a very cool obit for them to put in there. And the last obit of the day, Barney Curley, colourful horse trainer and gambler who wanted to be a Jesuit priest, but instead orchestrated the biggest coup in betting history. In the adverts, they're trying to sell you a rail trip through South Africa, and there is a coin ad. The London Mint Office wants you to try and buy an original King George gold half sovereign. Authentic from original coins struck between 1911 and 1915. Yours for just £214.9. And in the sport, injuries forced delay to final Euros squad. Plan for COVID passports to fill stadiums. So I couldn't do it in 3 minutes, but I could do it in 5. That is your time. For me, it's a minus 55555. Coins. Markinosis, you tried your best and had fun, and that's what matters. Didn't have fun, did try my best. Guybrush Treatgood would simply like Giles to be redacted. Just a point, isn't it produced ditum, not ditum? I don't... Which is it? Sarah ditum, Sarah ditum? Don't know, don't care, says person in the room. Right, and finally we come to the Daily Mail. Leaving the most deranged till last. And I apologise, you oldie stomach pump, for setting off your Google Assistant. Oh yeah, Remnant Thought. Yes, I will. I will go and look at the gifted sub option. Thank you for suggesting it, and also do just check out the YouTube. I have on YouTube now. All the shows go up on YouTube on the same day. So if you want to watch the show and it's later in the day, go there. Woke Wedding Guide. Yeah, I know it's awful and it's really badly. Same name, yeah, on YouTube. If you search for the paper thing, you'll find it there. Right, Daily Mail, front page of the Daily Mail. As PM names big day, your invitation to Carrie's Woke Wedding Guide. Jesus Christ. Literally, person in the room, I think you read this, didn't you? It's just complete supposition, isn't it? Yep, just a slab of supposition. Sleep well, Rendland Thought. Thanks for joining us. On page 3, would you believe that's Charles? Yes, I would. He's just wearing countryside clothes. It's not that hard to recognise one of the most famous people in the UK. Jesus Christ. Hidden away on page 2, PPE boss slams VIP lane for contracts amid cronyism row. Yes, it was cronyism. The big story on the front page of the Daily Mail today is pandemic predators £52 billion raid on UK firms. Now, they are right in this, looking at the fact that private equity companies have been swallowing up firms at a incredibly fast rate during the pandemic. But you've got to ask, why is the Daily Mail bothered about it? There's usually another reason. And also, at some point, I may take a look in, do something on the stream or even in the newsletter, breaking down the extremely complex way that Daily Mail Group Trust is organised for tax and other purposes. Right, moving on. Right, so they do 4 pages on this private equity thing, including a double-page spread of 10 deals that will make your blood boil, including the purchase of Debenhams, Monaco Airlines, AA, Southern Cross, LV, McCarthy and Stone, Cobham, and Vets. Was £1 million gold raid at a castle an inside job? Maybe. Right, their coverage of... now, remember the hypocrisy of this. Remembering, of course, that the Daily Mail is the paper of hurrah for the black shirts. The paper that was hugely in favour of Max Mosley's father at the time that he was mostly in his pomp. Fascist son who tried to destroy free press that exposed him. Strang. Oh no, not Debenhams. Page 13, Love Island star, nurses troll me overlooked. A former Love Island star said she was shocked after realising nurses were among those cruelly trolling her on social media. Amy Hart, who appeared on the ITV dating series in 2019, said lockdown had given her time to look at the profiles of people sending her mean jibes. The former air hostess, who quit the show after getting her heart broken by Curtis Pritchard, brother of former Strictly dancer AJ, called for social media bosses to crack down on trolls. Oh, fuck off. It's likely there'll be 3 new inquiries over the Bashir scandal. The BBC's just going to keep... smashing itself in the face over it. Mark Cano says, love how the headline implies the press exposed him for being a fascist son. No, that part they loved. Nurses couldn't be mean. My dad never said anything nasty to me. Guybrush tweet good. Friends to enemies. Okay. Hey SK, how you doing? Good to see you. May 25th, 2020. Oh, God. The hay fever is incredible. Even though we've got constant rain, I've still got hay fever. Amazing scenes. May 25th, 2021. On this day, from Daily Mail Archive, May 25th, 1972. What a shame they couldn't go for like May 20... something like 1931 2, something like that. Get some Oswald Mosley in there. The transatlantic airfare war hotted up yesterday. First, Pan American announced winter charter return flights between London and New York for £51.80 for affinity clubs. Within minutes, BOAC followed with £49 return trips. Then Transworld Airlines priced their winter charters at £45.50. How boring. May 25th, 1989. The wife of the Yorkshire Ripper, Sonia Sutcliffe, won £600,000 libel damages from Private Eye yesterday, the highest sum ever awarded by a jury in a libel case. It could spell the end of the satirical magazine. Editor Ian Hislop said outside the court, if this is justice, I'm a banana. The sum was later reduced to £60,000 on appeal. Funny that the Daily Mail should be talking about a libel lost by Private Eye on the day after the man who subjected the News of the World to a huge privacy loss has died. Curious, isn't it? Pages 24 and 25. Pandemic could be over in weeks. Jesus Christ. More horrible coverage of the young black woman, Sasha Johnson, who was shot. She was not shot for... It's nothing to do with her activism, yet the headline says, BLM leader, a victim of crossfire. Hormone beef will be kept out, insists Liz Truss. That means it's definitely coming back. Alison Boshoff, the most ridiculously named of the Daily Mail journalists, says, can Kevin Spacey really rebuild his house of cards? I wouldn't be surprised. I hope he doesn't, but I bet he does. Bill Turnbull's back on GMB presenting with Susanna Reid, even though he is currently being treated for incurable prostate cancer. Bless him. I feel for him. I do, actually. They're still trying to get you to go on a cruise with Lulu and not even a robot bartender, just Lulu and William Roach. Moving on, Sebastian Shakespeare is awful. In good health, massive spread about IBS, something about statins. Why is it a cat dressed in nightwear? Electric headband to banish insomnia. I don't know why they've illustrated that with a cat. Half of us go through it, yet doctors still aren't being taught about the menopause. Well, that's not good. Apparently there's an epidemic of broken bones caused by home workouts. Again, I feel like the Daily Mail's probably making that up. Right, so here's this thing where they're trying to sell like a little camera thing that makes it easier to read the newspaper, but I just took this bit at the top where it said, does someone you know find it difficult or impossible to read this newspaper? I often find it hard to read this newspaper because it makes me so angry, but that's not the reason that they're thinking of. Still trying to get you to do equity release, still trying to sell you weird lawnmowers. Pick of the day is Bake Off the Professionals, 8 p.m, Channel 4. Christopher Stevens, Last Night's TV, Mayor of Easttown gets 5 stars. Motherland gets 5 stars. In Garfield is watching TV. In Chloe and Co, Chloe and her friend are drinking but coffee this time and talking about philosophy for some reason. And in Fred Bassett says hello to another dog. The dog barks at him and he's a bit shocked by that. Strang, it's simple. People like cats, Mick. I do like cats. Cruising with Lulu was an extremely controversial short-lived Channel 4 series in the mid-80s. Lulu, more like hoo-hoo. So I guess cancel culture isn't a real thing after all. It turns out it's not. In the straight-to-the-point letters, Elaine Common of Hornchurch says, poor Diana, haunted in life and death. Will she ever be able to rest in peace? Christine Tyler says, in hindsight, would the princes have pleaded with their mother, don't do the interview? It's also wise for Harry. Paul Littler, who's often in here, says, it's a disgrace that any compensation paid to the victims of the Martin Bashir scandal will be funded by the licence fee. R. Myers, could this be Rupert Myers? Doubt it. It's from Doncaster, says, should I be caught forging bank statements, I'd expect to end up behind bars. I'm going to do the poem in a minute. Brian Best of High Wycombe says, petrol and diesel cars, peat, wood-burning stoves, meat, gas boilers, what shall we ban next week? Tony Thompson of Banbury says, another taboo at dinner party should be boasting about your little darlings. Linda Arnold says, trainee nurses not only have to pay for their course, they work 12.5-hour shifts for no pay and have to fork out for car parking. Fair enough letter, that one. And Joy White says, age 66, my teddy bear has both eyes, ears, nose, a full coat of fur, and still plays Brown's lullaby while his head moves. Okay, fair enough. Right. At special request of Motherland is excellent, says Dan Jones 3142, but gives me minor heart attack when the credits come up because they still have to give Glenna a token mention. I'd like to think that was in the divorce settlement. Right, so person in the room has specifically requested I read the poem of the day. It's called Jab's Army. I haven't even looked at it yet, but it's apparently one of the worst poems ever. So here we go. Jab's Army. They came, they saw, they conquered, with vital work to do, landing at many an outpost to make it easy for you, arriving fully armed with no weapon of aggression or harm, but something much more powerful, a jab aimed at an arm. There's more of this. An army of our heroes, modest and on a mission, not carrying rifles and bullets, or any such ammunition. Our honourable Jab's army keeps that virus on the run, as they meet, greet and vaccinate and safeguard everyone. There's no don't panic Jonesy, Walker or Mannering's wife. Only masked nameless heroes with something to save your life. And that is by Sheila Webb of Chesham, who should be jailed. Strang, it's the Joker I'll become this time, thanks to the cadence of this rhyme. Mark Kenosis needs tuber accomplishment. We're all the Joker now. Get station. Wish the vaccine didn't exist so I didn't have to hear this. And at the bottom of that column, there's also a limerick from Bethan Morgan, who says, it is clear what Boris should do to sort out this hullabaloo. Let number 10's cat chase off Chatty Rat, bringing peace to Downing Street Zoo. Fucking hell. I just... Why? Alright, so... today's recipe is coconut cookies, which I guess is fine. They're still trying to get you on a cruise. A plague ship. Today's chino trousers, yours for £45. In brick green, stone, royal blue, mustard, tan, sky, navy, or pink. And finally, in the sport, waiting game, fitness issues for Southgate to lay out announcing 26-man Euro squad. England boss will name extended list instead, but Trent could still miss out. Will be number 1. City Stars confident they can grab Champions League glory. And GB's secret pill to help tame heat of Tokyo. Team GB athletes have been swallowing tiny computerized pills in a bid to prepare for the stifling heat that awaits them at the Olympics in Japan. See you, Slinker. Have a good afternoon. For me, that Daily Mail is a quadruple negative nice. That's a minus 69, 69, 69, 69. And that is our papers for today. Thank you all for joining me today. As ever, if you can, if you're able to, do consider chucking a few coins into the newspaper fund. It really does help. And when you do, you can also tell me what magazine or paper or whatever you want included. Their next magazine special will be on Friday, and I don't know what it's going to be yet. So select something insane, and I'll do it. It's clear. It's clear that I'll do that. Mark Kenosis rates the Daily Mail as minus the tears of William McGonagall's ghost.
Offensive to William McGonagall.
Yeah, poor William McGonagall. And final roll call of the day. I'm, of course, the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. In the mod squad have been Guybrush, Tweetgood, and SK the Crusader. Make sure you check out SK's recent streams on video on demand. There's been some really good ones in there. Elsewhere in the gang today, 2020 has been here. Academy Impossible, Another TT Viewer, Aratrax, Aiton, Aunt Dage, Bad Motivator, Carbot 14XYZ, Chris McRae, Commander Root, Dan Jones 3142, Get Station, Glyconic Moment, Industrial Pet, Chronotherm, Mark Kenosis, Mr. Gump, Amiga Jeppe, Red Tick Seed, Rosie Rose, Selinka Maya, Smirch, Schnur, Stulu89, Strang, Cider Streams, Toms, V&K, Virgo Pros, Yodi Stomach Pump, Yuan, and Zoutar. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Dan Jones is going to write increasingly bizarre and threatening letters to W.H. Smith until they start stocking the non-league paper. I'll keep looking for it. Thanks, Yuan. Expecting a training montage so you can fit the 3-minute mark. Yeah, I got mildly distracted, and also I think the Times is slightly longer than the Guardian. Yeah, the new speedrun category. I'll try and speedrun Daily Mail at some point this week, which will be tricky. All right, everyone, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. In the meantime, don't forget that Discord is there. If you're a member of the Discord already, get on there and share things. Send me articles that you hate. Talk about stuff. I also put on the Discord when the new today's episode will be uploaded onto YouTube. It'll be in the Discord. Anyway, laters. See you soon. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Have a good afternoon. Goodbye.